Well, let's get started with responsive web design. First, I'm going to give you a little overview of what responsive web design is. So I just came to a website, and this one takes advantage of CSS media queries and skinnyties.com if you want to look at it. I'm probably going to change every once in a while, but just give you a general idea of what responsive web design is. So basically what responsive web design is it makes it easy for people to view it on their mobile phone, on their tablet, or on their desktop computer. The website looks good no matter what device you're on. It doesn't look better on a specific device. It's going to look different, but it's still going to look good on a mobile device, and on a tablet, and on a desktop computer with a really big monitor. So how you can tell if a website's responsive is if you make the window smaller. So here I'm starting to make the window smaller, and you see things kind of getting shifting around, but you're going to notice it more when you make it smaller. That, like, let's go down to here. We've got we've got some images. Let's go back up. See right there, there are 3 images side by side, but the smaller you make it, the images are going to go in a different order, so it's still going to look good. Like, see, now we go all the way to here, and this would be like a large mobile device, or we make it even smaller. See, the pictures are one on top of each other. So if the screen is big, it takes up advantage of that space, and it makes them go side by side. Like, there's an image, there's an image, there's an image. But as it gets smaller, the images resize to make it look good on a mobile device. And I haven't really looked at this one, but yeah. So on the bottom, so we've got those links here: the shop by, about us, and help. Then we're here for you with an email address and phone number. But as you make that smaller, it's gonna, let's scroll down here, it's gonna push it all over to the left, so it still looks good. So see, I make it this small, it still looks good. It looks a whole lot different than it did when it did the full screen, but it's still gonna look good. And that's what responsive web design is all about. It's about making it look good no matter how big the screen is. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to this, and I'm going to show you the most basic way how to do it. And it takes advantage of what's called CSS media queries. So I'm going to go ahead and type something out. I have just a Notepad++ opened up with a basic document structure here, and I was just playing around with it. And let's go ahead and do some stuff. And so basically what this does is it just CSS, the type, and this is what's really important, is the media. So I put screen and max width 960 pixels. So anything that's inside of there, and it's gonna only happen if the max width is 960 pixels. So everything smaller than 960 pixels, that's what's gonna be, the style is only gonna apply to them. So let's just go color red, just something really simple there. Now let's open it up. I've got it in Chrome, and so look, we have our word text there, and the smaller we make it, see, after we get past 960 pixels, it turns red. Now this is kind of a useless example, but it's more common if you have columns, and if you have columns and images you want to resize and scale, like we did back at that if I can go to it, the skinnytieshere.com. So they take advantage of this in a really creative way. It takes a lot of thinking, because you kind of got to think how you want to lay out things in HTML to make it accessible to CSS media queries, and you got to think about how you want to present it on a smaller screen. Because, like, 3 columns, do you want it 2 columns? Do you want it 1 column? Do you want to push something from 4 columns down to 1 column, or do you want to stack one on top of the other? Do you want the text size to get smaller or bigger, or colors to change, or the layout to change? There are all these kind of things that go into how responsive design is, how your website is going to look once you get it responsive. So again, this is basically the HTML. So I have a basic HTML document here. I'll put up in Notepad++. I just got a style, like a regular style in here, and the important part is this right here, media equals screen and max width 960. I can make that anything. So I can put another one in here, and I just copy and paste it. Say 120, or just for, and let's make it blue. So now we got our max width. If it's smaller than 960, make it red. If it's smaller than 420, make it blue. So let's just check that out real quickly just to give you an idea of what happens. So right now the text is black. We go past 960, that makes it red. And that didn't work. Maybe I didn't go small enough. Oh, I didn't refresh it. There we go. Okay, I didn't refresh it. I was wondering what was wrong. So basically, so it goes red after 960 pixels, and it goes blue after 420 pixels. So it's that's basically how you do it in inside of. I just use Notepad++. The important part is this screen and max width equals 420 pixels. So that's how to create a basic responsive design. And obviously you probably won't want to do this, but you probably want to do, you know, or maybe, and up at the top you might want to make it say 50%. So that way the column, if the column is smaller than 960, you can scale it down to the width goes side by side, and at 420 it'll take up the whole width there. That's just for a column. So if you had something like can't type. So something like this, that'll scale it down. And so I'm not going to show this to you, but that's the important part right here, this media and max width 960, or just whatever pixels you put in. So that's basically responsive web design.